Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of helping financier sexually abuse underage girls and is currently serving a lengthy prison sentence. If Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said this in a post on social media platform X, adding that President Donald Trump has told us to release all credible evidence. A lawyer for Maxwell has confirmed that there have been discussions with the government. And it's another day and another Donald Trump claim. The US president has now claimed yet again, that he in fact was responsible for calling a stop to the India-Pakistan conflict. Now Trump's comment in fact, they come only hours after the Indian envoy clearly stated that it was Pakistan and only Pakistan at whose request did India agree to the ceasefire. Listen into the bite of the Indian envoy at the UNSC.
Recently, consequent to the gruesome terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, on 22nd April 2025, that led to the killing of 26 innocent tourists, and based on the Council statement of 25th April, where members of the Security Council underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which was focused, measured, and non-escalatory in nature. On achieving its primary objectives, a cessation of military activities was directly concluded at the request of Pakistan. Mr. President, I am constrained also to respond to the remarks made by the representative of Pakistan. The Indian subcontinent offers a stark contrast in terms of progress, prosperity, and development models. On the one hand, there is India, which is a mature democracy, a surging economy, and a pluralistic and inclusive society. At the other extreme is Pakistan, steeped in fanaticism and terrorism, and a serial borrower from the IMF.
My colleague Mohammad Ghazali joins us for more on this. Ghazali, you heard the Indian envoy to UNSC there, and we also know about what Trump has again reiterated. Where do you see this headed? And also, we are getting information that the US administration is in fact meeting the Pakistani administration on Friday. Are there any dots here that need to be connected?
See, we know US has its own interests in siding with Pakistan when it comes to strategically start its operations either in Afghanistan or Iran or to counter China. And we also know that how Mr. Trump also harbors its ambitions to have his ambitions to be awarded Nobel Peace Prize. He has been obviously been nominated by two strange politicians, one Asim Munir from Pakistan, another Benjamin Netanyahu. But India has always maintained its stand that whenever it comes to the dispute or conflict with Kashmir, with Pakistan, it is going to be resolved by the two countries itself, and India doesn't need any mediator. So this was the case even when the Operation Sindoor was launched by India, and Indian envoy made it very clear that it was Pakistan which had requested India sort of to bring down all the hostilities, and there was no role of the United States as being claimed by Mr. Trump, that he sort of gave a bait of trade, that he won't have trade with either India or Pakistan, and that is why the Operation Sindoor came to an end. But that has been categorically rejected by our External Affairs Minister as well as the government of India on multiple occasions, that US had no role to play when it came to bringing down hostilities between the two countries.
Also, we've got breaking updates coming in that PM Modi is in fact planning for his visit to the UK, which will also be followed by the Maldives. Remember, the PM is being called for the Maldivian National Day celebrations in the Maldives. And before that, on the 24th of July, viewers, which in fact happens to be tomorrow, that's Thursday, the PM is also expected to sign the FTA, the long-awaited FTA, with the UK government. And here on your screens are live shots. There you see the PM planning. My colleague Mohammad Ghazali remains with us. Ghazali, can you underline the PM's itinerary and, more importantly, what all deals, apart from the UK FTA that we of course discussed, are on the anvil here?
See, obviously the UK FTA would be the highlight of this particular visit by the Prime Minister, which is going to be his fourth visit to United Kingdom after being the Prime Minister of India for the third term. In the last 3 terms, this will be the fourth visit to United Kingdom. And FTA, obviously, which has started off the talks and negotiations, which has started off back in 2022. It's been 3 years since the negotiations were going on. Multiple rounds of talks were held between the Trade and Commerce Ministry of India and their counterpart in United Kingdom. But the focus should not be taken away from the fact that India is also going to talk about some financial frauds who have escaped from India and have taken a safe haven in United Kingdom. Also the issue of Khalistani extremists, because earlier this year when our External Affairs Minister was in United Kingdom, he was he was attending one of the programs in one of the leading think tanks there, and while he was entering into the premises of that think tank to attend that program, his convoy was attacked by the Khalistani extremists. And since then United Kingdom has not taken any concrete measures and steps, and we all know that how in the past multiple years we have seen that how these elements have been raising slogans, have been threatening our diplomats. They have been protesting outside the Indian High Commission in London, and despite repeated sort of India raising it with their British counterparts that how these elements needs to be reined, UK has not done enough. And they have not even responded to the way India was expecting it to be. And the last incident was something which has certainly raised a lot of eyebrows from the Indian diplomats here, that how could a visiting foreign minister on an official visit in UK could be attacked, or his security was sort of compromised the way these extremists had attacked his convoy, his car over there. So these two issues, besides the trade deal, besides showing that how India and UK will collaborate and coordinate in different sectors, be it clean energy, tech sector, our students studying in UK, a lot of UK universities are opening their campuses in India. These side-by-side trade talks will continue, but the focus
Absolutely
will also
right.
be on checking these elements as well.
Absolutely right. Thanks for unpacking the visit for us, Ghazali. Of course, a lot to look forward there. Now, shifting gears, but staying with India. Now, viewers, the strength of the Indian passport dropped 5 spots last year. But this year, it has made the largest jump by climbing 8 places. That's correct. It has climbed from the 85th place to the 77th place now. This is according to the Henley Passport Index 2025. That, in fact, was unveiled on the 22nd of July. That's Tuesday. Now, the report ranks all the world's passports based on the number of destinations their holders can enter without a prior visa. Now, currently, India has visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to 59 destinations across the world. Malaysia, Indonesia, the Maldives and Thailand are some countries that offer visa-free access to Indian passport holders. Meanwhile, countries like Sri Lanka, Macau, Myanmar, etc. also offer visa-on-arrival services. Now, the latest insights from the Henley Passport Index reveal a significant transformation in mobility across the globe, also within the Asian countries taking the lead. My colleague Vishal Vivek explains.
This is India's biggest leap as far as the index of the rankings of the global passports are concerned. So India has climbed 8 spots on the global index published by Henley, as you mentioned earlier. Earlier, India was ranked 85th, and now it's moved to the 77th spot. This comes after, a few months ago, India had dropped in the ranking. So this is a welcome news. And this means visa-free entry to 59 countries. So Indians will be able to fly out to as many as 59 countries without the requirement of any visas. And this also means visa on arrival to countries such as Sri Lanka, Macau, and 57 other countries. Both Sri Lanka and Macau are some of the most important tourist destinations in Asia. So that's a shot in the arm for both tourism in those countries and also Indians who want to travel to those countries. So these rankings also showcase that Asia has dominated the global mobility rankings, and also at the same time showed that US and UK powerhouses in their own right, they have dropped in the rankings. So what does this actually mean, these rankings? The first one is that travel freedom. The higher you are in the rankings, the easier is for Indians to, go to as many countries. The number of countries you can explore, significantly increases. The second one is global mobility. It shows that stronger passport means fewer visa hassles for work, study, or tourism. Then there is national soft power. This is about diplomacy, how India has, portrayed itself on the international arena through soft power. That is also, signified through these rankings. And lastly, economic opportunity. So ease of doing business, international jobs, and investments. These are some of the things that Indians can really benefit as far as these rankings are concerned. And the higher the rankings, the more beneficial it will be for Indians.
Shifting focus to the Middle East, viewers, where Israel's state-owned Khan TV News reported on Tuesday that progress has in fact been made in indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas over a Gaza ceasefire agreement. Now, this also includes the release of hostages and prisoners as well. According to this report, the talks focus on a key dispute regarding the presence of Israeli forces in the Gaza Strip during the proposed 60-day ceasefire. Over in Washington, President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is headed to the Middle East as the U.S. tries once again to reach a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Now, a breakthrough that has eluded the administration for months as conditions only have worsened in Gaza. Now, Tammy Bruce, the State Department spokesperson, told reporters on Tuesday that Witkoff was going to the region with a strong hope that the U.S. can in fact deliver a ceasefire deal as well as find a new humanitarian corridor for aid distribution. Here's what he said.
What the Secretary indicated was, again, an aid corridor that needs to be set up, that both sides have agreed to, that the humanitarian situation, of course, has been a main focus of what our concern has been, obviously. And so I'm hoping, as I've mentioned to some of you earlier in the day in our conversation, that each day has the potential to have this be better.
Staying with the Middle East now, viewers, Syria is reeling from a new round of sectarian violence in the south, which again, in fact, has threatened to upend the country's very fragile recovery from nearly 14 years of dragging civil war. Footage obtained by AP shows dozens of bodies still lying on the ground at the Sweda National Hospital following days of deadly clashes between the Druze and the Bedouins, and later with Syrian security forces in the city as well. The head of the Syrian Arab Red Crescent, Mohammad Hazim Bakleh, told AP on Tuesday that the situation in the city of Sweda is grim. It still remains grim, particularly in the main hospital, where some 300 bodies have piled up during the clashes. The city had, in fact, been almost entirely cut off from supplies during the almost 2 weeks long fighting. Shifting focus to the other war, where Russia said on Tuesday its forces took control of another settlement in Ukraine's Donetsk region, while Ukraine on the same day reported 176 clashes along the front line. Russia's Ministry of Defense said in its latest briefing that its forces had seized a residential area in Donetsk region over the past 24 hours and destroyed 10 Ukrainian electronic warfare stations and 13 ammunition depots. Meanwhile, on the same day, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said in its battlefield updates that 176 clashes had in fact occurred along the front lines in the past 24 hours. Also, Ukrainian forces targeted concentrations of Russian personnel, weapons, military equipment, and missile artillery units, and they continued to engage Russian troops in the northern Kursk direction, the Ukrainian side has said in a statement. Staying with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where the new round of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, due to take place in Istanbul on Wednesday, are just a performance for one spectator for Trump, according to Ukrainian analysts. Now, Zelensky has meanwhile announced that the Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, Rustem Umerov, will lead the Ukrainian delegation at the talks. They will be focused on prisoner exchanges, deported children, and possibly a ceasefire. Meanwhile, Ukrainian experts opine that the focus of the talks to fall on more prisoner exchanges as priority for Ukraine. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has suggested that he might visit China in quote-unquote not too distant future. Now this comes following an invite from Xi Jinping as the superpowers gear up for fresh trade talks. Meanwhile, Washington has softened its approach towards Beijing in recent weeks. The US Treasury Secretary also said that negotiations in Stockholm next week will likely be aimed at extending a US-China trade truce beyond the 12th of August. Trump had in fact adopted a more conciliatory tone towards Beijing to secure a trade deal and an in-person summit with Xi, which analysts predict could take place during the APEC summit in South Korea as soon as this fall. Meanwhile, Trump's toned-down approach, though, has ranked some China hawks in Washington. Staying with the US, where Coca-Cola has said it plans to launch a beverage for the US market with cane sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Now, the announcement, which comes as the company reports second quarter earnings, follows a social media post by none other than President Donald Trump last week, claiming that he had persuaded the company to use real cane sugar in its US cola. Now, the company, or Coke, said the new product will use cane sugar produced in the US and will expand its product range as well. Over in Europe, Athens residents and tourists crowded beaches on Tuesday, as you see that on your screens right now. This as temperatures crept up across the country. Elsewhere in Greece, a major forest fire has also broken out, and authorities have in fact ordered several villages near Kornet, the village west of Athens, to in fact evacuate. There are no immediate reports of any casualties. Meanwhile, weather conditions are particularly tough for the 180 firefighters at the scene. Meanwhile, an intense and prolonged heat wave has been forecast in the upcoming days, with temperatures expected to reach up to 44 degrees Celsius in some parts of the Western European country. Now, this is according to the National Observatory of Athens. Here's more.
Αλλά εδώ με πολλά νερά, πολλά υγρά, τα σώσαμε λιγάκι δηλαδή, και οι βουτιές στη θάλασσα είναι το καλύτερο. Για μένα τουλάχιστον είναι το καλύτερο και το συνιστώ σε όλους.